What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Run It Up podcast. I am your host, Najee Adams, and we have a very special episode today. I feel like I say that on every episode, but we got a very special episode today. Before we get into that, make sure you guys subscribe to the Run It Up podcast on Apple Podcasts. Leave that rating and review. I know damn well you got time to do it. It takes like 5 seconds. So it don't cost you no bread. Just go on Apple Podcasts, click that little 5 stars, and write some nice words of encouragement. That's all I'm asking from you. Just please do that for me. If you're on Spotify, download the pod, share it with your friends, your family, put it on Twitter, just do your thing, help me out. I very much so appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Najee Adams _ the pod on Twitter is at Run It Up Pod. And today we have we have Yalil himself, Mr. Jalaal Sandy, lifelong friend of mine. We've known each other since we were in like third grade. He is now 23. You're 23, right?
I'm 22. I turned
That's
23
crazy.
in a few
In
months.
April, you turned 23 April 3rd. I know your birthday though. You are
Yeah.
22. I am 22. So yeah, we've known each other for more than a decade. What's up, Jalaal? How you doing today, bro?
What's going on, bro? I had to come on your show, return the favor. You were on my show yesterday. That episode just dropped right before we recorded. So appreciate you for coming on, and I had to return the favor, and I'm sure I'll be on here sometime in the future.
That is a fact. Yeah, I was just on Jalal's pod, so go check that out. If you didn't listen to the last episode of the Run It Up pod, it was a great pod as well. Had my boy Keith McPherson on. He is the reason that you're no longer seeing me through a web Apple camera. You can see me clearly because he was smoking my shit after the interview. He was like, yo bro, your quality mad ass. Nah, he didn't say that. He didn't say that specifically, but like he was giving me tips and constructive criticism. So shout out to Keith. Got a mic, got some headphones, got a webcam. We lit now. So yeah, go check that episode out. But yeah, we here with my boy Jalaal. About to run you through the gauntlet, bro. 12
Wait,
questions.
hold on. Let me get my plug in.
That's the first question, bro. Let me work, bro.
Oh, all right. My bad.
So yeah, let me explain to you how the gauntlet goes. 12 questions, life, music, sports, everything. We cover it all on here. And at the end, the last question is a wild card question. You get to ask me anything. So yeah, you can think about your question now. 12 questions. You got a long little while for you to ask me a question. So boom. Question number 1, bro. Tell us about yourself. How'd you get started in the whole Just Another Day podcast? How'd you come up with the name? How'd you get in the Blue Wire Hustle? Just tell me all about yourself. Get your plug in. Do your thing, bro.
All right, now I can get my plug in. so I just graduated from UConn. Shout out all my Huskies that might be listening to this. Graduated in May. I had a degree in sport management. And it was looking very slow for a job in this COVID catastrophe that we're living in. So I decided to go to grad school. Now I'm at St. John's. What do y'all call it? Yeah, the Red Storms?
Johnny's.
The Johnnies?
Yeah, the Red Storm, whatever you want to call it. The Red Men.
Yeah. I don't like, obviously, I'll always mention it like when I'm older. I'm like, yeah, I went to St. John's, but like as of today, I have not stepped foot on their campus for class because of COVID restrictions and Zoom classes and all of that. So technically, like I don't even have a storm card. Like if I wanted to do something on campus, I couldn't even do it.
If you guys don't know, the storm card is basically like your ID.
It's your student ID.
I wish I had my wallet on me. I would show y'all mine, but I don't. My wallet's over there.
I don't have a student ID, but that's beside the point. And then I don't know. I've been thinking about podcasting for a while. Me and Najee used to have a YouTube channel like a few years back, and we
was popping, bro. That's our biggest fumble of the bag.
I wouldn't say that because I feel like we had YouTube wasn't our priority. Like we had other obligations that always got in the way. So at the end of the day, like when you're working with somebody, collabing with somebody, y'all always have to be on the same page. And even though like mentally we were like, yeah, we're here, like real life got in the way of that. And I feel like, we you have your podcast now, and I have mine, and people ask me like, well, why didn't you just do it with Najee? And I'm like, why don't we just grow by ourselves first? Like maybe
Facts.
down the line we could do it. But
Facts. The
yeah, to
Metro
the
Bros podcast.
yeah, that was a dream that's dead now, but it's
Nah, we
all
gonna
good.
we gonna get it popping.
But yeah, to the origins of this part, to my podcast. So around like October, like early November, I hit you up actually, and we were talking, and he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm starting a podcast." And I was like, "Oh, we're bet!" Like I was hyped for you. I was like, when you announce it, let me know. I'm gonna go retweet it. I'm gonna plug you, all of that." And then I saw, I think it was Ty. He posted like you retweeted like one of his tweets, and I said it's like second batch Blue Wire Hustle, blah blah blah, and I'm like, let me just submit something. Like I don't think they're gonna choose me, but let me just submit something because I find myself always chatting to my relatives about sports, and I know they don't care. Like they're just like, yeah, 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 because they
It's
know
like,
I'm
yeah.
interested in. They're like, yeah, yeah. You've been talking about it all day, and I'm like, okay, I'll give y'all a break. But yeah, I saw a podcast as an opportunity to just let out everything, all of the knowledge that I've been holding in for years about sports, music. Even though I haven't really gotten into music,
I feel
I'm
like I
sure
really haven't either, bro. Like it's hard because once you start going on sports, like it's
sports is such a constant thing, and music is like a wait and see type of game. Like all the artists we're waiting for to drop haven't dropped. But so the name Just Another Day, I like there's no story behind it or anything special. I literally came up with the name in like 10 seconds. It's something that I live by. Sort of like how you hear athletes that when commentators and analysts talk about athletes, you see LeBron get a 30-point triple double. They're like, well, that's just another day at the office. But
Mhm.
in reality, the work and the commitment and the dedication that goes into that performance, you don't see that. So like I feel like individuals, they sort of undermine their performances, and I feel like they should get more notoriety and they should be more proud of themselves, have more pride in your work. So just another day is just like it's me unapologetically. I give brutal, honest takes. I just went on a crazy rant yesterday about my Packers. And yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at jsandy45 underscore. The podcast Twitter page is just ANO Day Pod. And yeah, I'm a month into podcasting. I'm still learning. I feel like uh I'm a novice. Like you've been podcasting for like 3 years now because you started with hoop ball and now you're doing this. But yeah, I'm just trying to learn every episode I do. I'm just trying to learn something new.
Nah, bro. But honestly, when I first heard your first episode, I was like, "Oh, my son is a natural." Like it really because like we're used to talking about sports on PlayStation all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference
Every
is
day.
you not getting no feedback while you're recording. Like you just be talking to yourself, but it's still the
Yeah.
same concept. Like just getting your thoughts off, getting your opinions off onto the mic. Um, the thing when you first told me the Just Another Day name, I was like, "Oh, that's fire!" Because like I was wondering like, what is he gonna name it? Because they're like when you think like every name is damn near taken, bro. Like you really got to be
There's
creative to
yeah.
come up like.
This is not like the thing about podcasting is like we didn't catch on like in the beginning. We're
Mhm.
adjusting to the now this game that is constantly transforming, and we have to adjust on the fly basically. And I honestly I didn't look up like, oh, is there another podcast named Just Another Day? There are, like there's
Bro,
another
I
one, but
looked it up. But
it's
there's
not
one.
about sports. But the thing, so if you look up, if you just type in my name on iTunes, I mean on Apple Podcasts, my podcast is gonna come up. So if you know my name, Jalaal Sandy, Jalaal Sandy, Sandy, you'll find it. Um, but yeah, it's podcasting now is like I feel like everybody's doing podcasting. Like
That's a fact.
this is not
Everybody on
a
podcast.
new wave, but on the other side of that, I feel like podcasting is still growing. Like this is the new form of media. TV is
Companies are
dying every
investing
year.
millions and billions into the podcast industry.
Podcasting and like is like another form of radio, and people aren't sitting down on the TVs watching First Take as much as they used to, or
Hmm.
watch, you'll catch it on YouTube, or you'll listen to the podcast version on your phone or whatever. So
I
yeah, I
just think
think
it's a very easy form of media to consume. Like you can just
exactly,
put a podcast on in the back and just let it rock. Like you play PlayStation with a podcast on. People take their
exactly.
morning drives with a podcast on the train with a podcast on. Like you can just consume that content
Mhm.
anytime during the day that you want, bro.
Yeah,
Um, and shout out to Blue Wire Hustle, bro, and Kevin Jones,
absolutely.
Ty, like all those guys over there. That was a blessing because I was gonna start my own podcast anyway. And so when I hit up Kevin, I'm like, bro, like if I could somehow get some guidance, get some help from y'all at Blue Wire, because y'all are doing big things, like I would of course love that. Shout out to him, but me and Batch one, and then Jalal. So I was like, yo, bro, hit up Blue Wire Hustle, bro. Like it's gonna hit. Ty hit me up that day about something, bro. And I was like, yo, Jalal, no, you had told me that day. Like, yo,
Yeah,
they
because
they
he emailed me and
mhm,
I was like, yo, is this the tie that you mentioned like a
uh-huh.
couple weeks ago? And he was like, yo, bro, go submit. Like, yeah, you're in, bro. And
I was
honestly,
hyped.
if it wasn't for the, I guess the opportunity that you took advantage of, there would be no Just Another Day podcast.
Damn,
Because
that's
I
crazy.
would still be like brainstorming something or be like uh be a little frightened or scared to even start it. So I think just having that jump start and taking initiative, like I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
That's
So
a fact. Nah, bro, and the thing is, you like obviously our podcast don't get a super amount of downloads. Like we get
mhm,
a lot of family and friends listen. People from outside of Twitter root for us, cool. But like we don't get a ton of downloads. But like the fact that we still enjoy doing it, even though we're not getting as many downloads as we probably deserve, because we be talking some good shit. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I'm very confident
facts.
in my
Yeah.
ability to talk, and so are you. So it's like, I, the like I said on the last episode, bro, the numbers are gonna come as long as we keep grinding, bro. We're gonna get up soon. So, um, yeah, that was basically my first question. Second question, who and what inspires and or motivates you every day, bro? Like what when you wake up in the morning, what motivates you to go and chase the bag and run it up and keep pushing?
Oof, that's a
That's a
layered
loaded
question.
question.
Um the first person that comes to mind is my grandfather. He passed away over the summer, but even when he was alive, he always told me like just do what makes you happy and like you have talent, you have skills, just figure out what those are, find your niche, your lane, and just take advantage of that. And I'm obviously my family, my parents, my friends, like I consider a lot of my friends family. Like your family to me, like blood wouldn't make us any closer for real.
That's a
and
fact.
and all the whole crew on PlayStation, friends from UConn, like uh listen, when I see support and I see encouragement, that it pushes me to keep going. And you know it when you start something new, that's what you need, because sometimes it's hard to believe in yourself when you said the numbers don't add up. So I stopped looking at the numbers like a couple weeks ago. I'm like, the numbers aren't going to be there, because I remember when we started our YouTube channel and we were like, oh man, we got 50 subscribers. Like we were hyped, but we were like, that's nothing. And
That's
then one
nothing,
day,
bro.
one day it just blew up off of just a video that we thought was trash. We was like, this video is not doing nothing.
Bro, all it takes is one
It just
post,
takes one.
one tweet, one anything to go semi-viral, and you have a whole new set of listeners coming, joining your show and like wanting to listen to what you say, bro. That's what it's about. Getting people to not only rock with what you're saying, but rock with you. If people rock with you, then you good. Like you could talk about
Yeah,
anything.
they're gonna listen to anything you say. And on the flip side of that, other than like people that I know personally, just dudes be outside of my house drag racing every day. But um, yeah, I think when you watch Undisputed and you watch like First Take and uh Pardon the Interruption, like all these shows that I've been watching since I was 8 years old, not Undisputed, but like First Take and all the shows on ESPN. It's just inspiring, and you just take a piece of everything you watched. And even like now, I started listening to podcasts like 4 years ago when I first got to college, and like the podcast I listen to the most is this podcast called Locked On Packers. And I swear to you, like when the season is on, I listen to it every day. And uh the host, his name is Peter Bukowski. He's like when I listen to him, I'm like, damn, like how do I get better like that? Like I want to have that much confidence when I'm speaking and I'm giving information to my listeners. And I'm always looking for new podcasts to listen to. Like even if I have friends that have podcasts, I always listen to it just to take some notes and
That's a fact.
tips.
Um, I also do that. Like one of the big so this whole question gauntlet thing, I that was the idea I had myself, but I always want to come up with new questions. So all the smoke, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, they ask some good questions. Like they're quick hitters at
They
the end
do.
of the episodes. They ask some good questions. So I like take some of theirs sometimes. I listen to other podcasts, like take some of theirs sometimes. Like that's what it is, bro. Just learning from people, being inspired by people, and making yourself better in the process. So like you said, you're 22 right now, bro. If you go back to when you was 18 and tell yourself anything, what would it be, bro? 18, we was what? We was just coming out of cross.
Just graduated from high
Yeah, we just
school.
graduated from high school.
Whew, uh, I would just tell myself to just stick with the plan. Like I went out of state for school and I had every reason to stay home. Like I could have went to St. John's for undergrad, but I dreamed of going to UConn since I was like a sophomore in high school. So when I got that opportunity and my parents were like, we'll be able to take that sacrifice. Like if you really want it, we'll sacrifice. And then I was like, well, I also have to make some sacrifices. And the first semester was rough. Like, oh my goodness. Like I contemplated coming back home because
No, I
I
respect
just
you for that, bro. Because all of us primarily stayed in New York. Like our
mm,
main group of friends, we have five. Like our tight friend group is five people. Four of us stayed in New York. Jalal was the only one to go to a different state, all by yourself. That I respect you for that, bro. That's
yeah, it was a huge adjustment because Yukon is in the middle of nothing, bro. It's cows and fields and it's cold. It's quiet at night, and I'm used to hearing ambulances. You just heard the car run by.
mhm.
Like I'm used to hearing that, and that's comfortable for me. So me going to bed at night hearing crickets is like what the hell?
Mhm.
Where am I? So once I adjusted, it just yeah, I would just tell them to stick with it. And everything that you did in high school, everything that mattered in high school does not matter. Like once you get to college, none of it matters.
It didn't matter, bro. You know how many detentions I would have got if I knew that they don't matter, bro? Like all of that, none of that
Wait, we're
matters.
we're not saying get suspended from high school. If you're in high
No,
school, that
bro.
we're not saying that. But like
I'm
all
not
the
saying
things
that,
that
bro.
you valued in high school, they do not matter once you move on and go to your university, your community college, whatever you pursue.
That's a fact. But I was saying more so like, you know how back in Allen, bro, they used to give us demerits? Bro, those literally didn't matter. And they made us feel like it was gonna go on our college resume. Like it's crazy,
I
bro.
mean, it
Like
worked, didn't it?
it did, it worked. I didn't get a single demerit, but like just the fact that they just got in our head like that is insane. Um,
Mm,
all right, so that was question 3. Question 4. Going on to a music question. Me and Jalal talk about music thoroughly. So, if you could only
mm.
listen to one artist for the rest of your life, who would it be? I feel like I know who you're gonna say, but I would like to hear you say it.
Ooh, I gotta give you one.
One artist for the rest of your life, bro. It's got to be someone that got a song for every mood. That's what I say every time I ask this question. It's got to be a song for someone that got a person that has a song for every mood.
Hmm.
My answer is always Drake, bro. It's
Yeah,
always
but
Drake.
the thing about like, of course, the first person that comes to mind is Drake. But when I think about like me, when I'm sad, I don't listen to something that's gonna make me even sadder. Like I'm gonna go listen to some Pop Smoke. Let me get some energy. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna pick Pop Smoke, but like give me something with energy. Yeah, you probably knew who I was gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Kendrick Lamar only because like you said, like people listen to Drake to adjust to their emotions. I don't really like have emotions behind music. Like I listen to music for the music. And you know, Kendrick Lamar's music is extremely relative to the black struggle, the everyday struggle. He hasn't dropped music in a long time and I'm just waiting patiently. Like uh all Kendrick fans are just sitting there like Bernie Sanders at the inauguration, just waiting, just waiting. And yeah, like he might not. like you say, he might not have a song for every mood, but he's consistent. I don't think he has a bad project, and I think if he has songs that if you want to be happy, he has some of those songs. He has some truthful, real songs that'll make you think, and he has like life stories, and I feel like that's as authentic as it's gonna get as an artist. And he's been doing it for like 15 years, and he's been popular in the mainstream for like the last decade, which is crazy.
This question I'm about to ask you isn't a part of the Gauntlet questions, but it just came out of mine. And I know that what you're going to say, we've had this conversation before. So, Good Kid, Mad City, or Take Care?
Come on, man. Come on now.
What's the better album?
Good Kid.
And it's Take Care. That's wrong. So, okay, moving on. Huh? I've already told you this, bro.
Wait. No way, bro. So, okay. So, wait. All right. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but if you're ranking like the top 5, 10 albums of the last decade, that's including My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Good Kid, Mad City, Take Care, To Pimp a Butterfly, like all of those.
I hated that. You know, I hated that album.
That's a masterpiece.
Untitled, Unmastered, hated that too.
That wasn't an album though.
What was it? Just a project?
It's just a throwaway, yeah. But LeBron, like, he was like, yo, the people need to hear it, Kendrick. The people need to hear it. You gonna say no to LeBron? No.
That's like Drake's Dark Lane demo tapes.
yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. Like, I don't think it was bad. And I think that's when Kendrick was getting in his creative bag. Like, it was a lot of things that was like off script. Like, he was rapping over, bro. He's rapping over a saxophone, flutes, and harmonicas, dropping bars. Like,
all right, time out. So rank My Beautiful Dark, Take Care, and Good Kid, Mad City.
My Beautiful Dark is 1. Good Kid is 2. Take Care is 3. And then we've had this argument before because I don't even think Take Care is Drake's best album.
I know. Everybody think nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same. It's his best album.
Get that out of here, bro. Take Care is his best album.
Take Care has the highest highs of like any point that Drake's been in his career. That's the highest of highs. But in terms of consistency and throughout a whole project, nothing was the same. It takes the cake for me.
I don't want to stay on this topic because we could literally talk about it for an hour. So I'll go switch the spectrum here. If you line up to run a 40-yard dash, bro, what is your time? What are you running at this current point in time?
Today?
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Before I give my answer, just want to explain to everybody that's listening here. I never played football in my life. I was primarily a basketball player, and I was never athletic. I'm a short, chubby kid. I had to.
My son used to be the starter on the middle school basketball team. Don't sell yourself short, bro. My son was a starting point guard. Come on, point guard.
Chill. I mean, I was okay, I guess, but like I didn't have any athletic ability. I wasn't fast. I wasn't jumping out the gym. So I had to primarily I could shoot, and I had good enough handle where I could get to where I needed to get to, and I could pass. That I was elite.
Yeah, my son Jalaal used to swing the rock.
I was elite. But run like I remember I tried out for football my freshman year in high school, and that shit was a disaster.
Bro, I didn't come, bro. We all wrote so like leading up to our freshman year, we had like an orientation and all the teams were there, and us coming out of middle school like, oh my god, I can't wait to join a team, join a squad. So we all put our names down for the football team. My ass was like, bro, I ain't going. And that day came, I was like, I ain't doing that to myself. I didn't even go to the tryout. I already knew what it was.
Yeah, I just went and I was like, all right, so we run our 40, mind you. I've never ran a 40 in my life. I've never worn cleats ever. Like, never been on a football field ever. So this is my first time. I'm trying to break in. They're like, you need to break in your cleats. Huh? What does that even mean? Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. So I don't remember what my 40 time was, but it wasn't good at all. Like, dudes was like, oh, I just ran a 4.5. I just ran a 4.6. Oh, no. I'm like, oh, nah. I just ran a 5. I'm like, oh boy, this ain't gonna be good. So I do my 40, and I heard the time, and I just knew it wasn't good. People asked me what it was. Of course, I lied. I gave a higher number than what it actually was. But so like to put things into perspective, I was a lot lighter back then than I am now. Uh, not as athletic as I was back then, and I wasn't athletic back then. So if I ran a 40, I would say I'm gonna run, and this is brutally honest. I'm gonna run anywhere between a 6 and a 7.
I truly don't know what I run, bro. I've never ran a 40 in my entire life. I'd probably be like low fives. I would like to
Mhm.
believe I would be like low, like 5'2",
But the
five
thing
three.
is like we played basketball against each other, and like when I need to get somewhere, like I'll get there, but like a straight dash, I'd nah. Give me like a 6.
Nah, that's one of my favorite questions to ask people just because, like, that's a very fun question to think about. Like,
I feel embarrassed because the guest you had on, like you had Keith on last week. He was like, "Oh yeah, I ran a
bro,
4.5." I'm
if
like,
you
"What?"
if you go and look up Keith McPherson on YouTube, bro, there's a highlights of him, bro. He used to be on some Lamar Jackson, like, like doing
I'm gonna
some,
look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
looking up on YouTube, bro. Um, so what's the earliest sports memory you have, bro? Like when you like think all the way back, what's the first sports memory that comes to mind for you?
Hmm. Um, it'd have to be basketball because that's the first sport I watched. I would say my earliest memory, it's like I don't even remember the whole thing, but I was like 4 or 5, and I had a bunch of basketball jerseys. Like I had Kobe's jersey when he was wearing 8. I had Shaq, T Mac, Iverson, Vince Carter, Jason Kidd.
I feel like
Tr-
everybody
Uh,
had a Jason Kidd jersey. Why?
oh, for a fact.
Everybody had a
Yeah,
Jason Kidd.
you know why you think that? It's because we lived in New York,
That's a fact.
and we lived in the tri-state area, and the Nets were the better team at the time. So speaking of the Nets, they were playing the Magic. This is in like '03, '04, and I don't really know what's going on. We go to Jersey. They're playing the Magic. I'm wearing my little T Mac jersey, and we're in nosebleeds. I don't really know what's going on. All I remember was T Mac had like 45. I looked up at the scoreboard. I saw the number one, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw 45 next to it. And I remember my dad going, "Damn, that man is nice." And I was like, okay. So then, like the next day in the newspaper, like this is back when people used to get newspapers at their door every day.
Mm-hmm.
All you see on the back of the Daily News is Tracy McGrady drops a 50 bomb. I'm like, what? Like, I'm mind blown. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's probably the earliest sports memory I can remember. But a vivid one is again a Nets game where I went to see the Heat, who are now my favorite team, for the first time. First time I saw Shaq and D Wade, and yeah, that was really what started my love for basketball for real. Like where I could actually remember, like, yeah, I went to this game, I saw these players, I remember who won the game.
Mm-hmm.
All
Um, since you brought up your first memory, it's a great way to transition. My first memory obviously has to do with the Lakers, has to do with Kobe. Today is January 26th, the 1 year anniversary of Kobe's passing. Very tough topic for me, very tough topic for a lot of people, but it's tough for me to talk about, but I couldn't not ask a Kobe question just because it's like very on my mind. So, how do you feel as though Kobe Bryant has impacted your life in what way? Whether it be like his on the court stuff, his off the court stuff, just Mamba mentality. Like, how do you feel like Kobe's had a made a mark on your life?
um, a lot of people, like when they think of athletes, they always use what they did on the court as an example of their excellence. And uh, I put out a tweet today, like obviously I like a rest in peace tweet, how he exemplified excellence and hard work. And I never paid attention to what he did during the game because I always listened to how he explained what he did before the game,
Mm-hmm.
leading up to the game, like his preparation. And now that I'm starting this whole podcast thing, preparation is everything. Like I can't turn on record and just do something on the fly. Like that's not gonna work. I have to write down notes. I
Mm-hmm.
have to know how I'm gonna transition into the new topics, and that's something that Kobe really put into the limelight. Like obviously, Michael Jordan was his inspiration, but I feel like Kobe took it to the next level. Like to me, Kobe is the greatest example of what hard work can get you in
Mm-hmm.
anything. Like if you want something bad enough, Kobe is the guy to go watch his video. Don't even watch like his highlights. Go watch like what he says, how he speaks, and how serious he is. Like he's not joking around. He really believes his confidence in himself is sort of like a irrational confidence, but sometimes you gotta bet on yourself, honestly.
That's a
And
fact.
Kobe did that every night when he went out to play. He did that when he was trying to get his Oscar and he won an Oscar, which was amazing to see. Um, and yeah, just like how his life really, it, it's like I didn't realize how much he had an impact on our lives until he was gone, and that's so sad to say. Because like when we were kids, we would ball up a piece of paper, Kobe, into the trash, and we didn't even like. That's something. It's just a muscle memory. Like we do it all the
Mm-hmm.
time, and now every time you do a Kobe in the trash can, you got to shed a tear for.
That's a fact. For me, I know personally Kobe's impacted my life in a lot of ways, but the main one that I always come back to is like work ethic and your like your ability to not give up. You know, like because I'm gonna keep it a stack. Like I said, the numbers aren't like the numbers for our podcast that we do, we put a lot of work into this. I know you do. I know I do. Like I put a lot of work into my podcast, and to not get a ton of downloads is sometimes discouraging. Like I'm human, just like everybody else. When you put a lot of work in, you want a lot of people to see it. You want to get your credit, and so when you don't, and like it doesn't happen all the time, it doesn't happen often. So like seeing that is discouraging. And there's days where I think like, yo, do I even want to record? Like, is it even worth it, bro? And one of my favorite quotes from Kobe is when he's like, yo, the storm always ends. And when it does end, you got to be ready. And so, like, sure, we going through the storm now, bro. We struggling. We not getting many downloads. We pushing, bro. But we need to be, that storm will eventually end as long as we continue to trek through it. And him being that person, like, it just and instilling that mama mentality and like really going for it. Like whenever I feel like yo, I don't want to do this anymore, or like yo, is it even worth it? I'm always like yo, Kobe would be like, boy, shut your little dumb ass up and record that podcast. So I'm always like, I always just go back to that. His quotes is always in my mind. Yeah. So sleep in peace, Kobe Bryant, my inspiration, my go. Also, rest in peace to Gianna and everyone else that passed away in that tragic helicopter crash. And so, yeah, that was a quick little touch on Kobe. Um, but to lighten things up before this gets super sad,
Yeah, facts.
what are who would be? I asked this to Keith last week. This is one of the questions I poached off all the smoke. What if you could have any 5 dinner guests, bro, dead or alive? Who would they be?
Hmm, dead or alive? Well, see, that's a really tough question because like I never I'm sort of a realist. Like I never dream of like sitting across the table from a celebrity. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it happens, but I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I can't wait till I'm sitting at a dinner table with Jay-Z. Like
Uh-huh.
I don't think like that. So I mean, if I had to pick a celebrity uh to sit to someone to sit at the table with, and I'm just gonna put one, I'll put two. Because I'll do a musician and an athlete. Uh for the athlete, I'll do MJ just because like I could have easily said LeBron, but and LeBron is he's amazing. Like he knows how to work his businesses while being the greatest athlete in his sport. But Jordan really was like the trailblazer for what LeBron is doing right now. Like he was the face of the entire Nike brand before they even said it to Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't um, really politically sound, but no athlete back then was. Like that wasn't the way you get your notoriety. And some athletes went out of their way to do that, and kudos to them. But like I I wish he did, but at the same time, I can't really blame him, especially when you're the face of the league and you know that the commissioner is coming to you like, "Hey, don't say anything stupid because we need these numbers
Uh-huh.
up." But now, like the culture's flipped, and LeBron and like people like Jalen Brown and Bradley Beal, like these guys are speaking out every night after games. Even like Bam Adebayo, he says Black people still matter, people, after every press conference. So it's definitely a different platform than it was back then. But yeah, I'd say MJ because he's seen business literally transform in front of his eyes. He's almost 60 years old and he's a billionaire. And he started from just some kid that made it to the NBA out of college.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say Barack Obama. Uh, that's my GOAT president. I haven't been alive long enough to see too many presidents, but you know, Donald Trump was ass, and
That's a fact.
uh, you know, like I was really young when Bush was president, and you know, my parents weren't happy with him, so clearly he wasn't doing too many great things,
Right.
and you know, Obama is really like a a model figure for a lot of
He's an
young black,
icon, bro.
yeah, for like a lot of young black men. And you know, he gets a lot of criticism for the decisions he made in office, and that's every president makes decisions that the country's not going to like. Then you know, it leads to complications with other countries. It happens. Nobody's perfect, but just to get his insight on um his motivations and how he dealt with the stress of being the most probably the most popular man in America. Like the president, everybody knows who the president is. Like
Mm-hmm.
so being and being the first black president in history, and I don't know when we're gonna see another one. So just to um hold that torch and sort of carry it independently almost, because you don't know if you're ever gonna see anything like that again. Just to get some insight on that. Musician, I could easily say Jay-Z, but I would say Drake. I would throw Drake at
No,
that
that's a shocker for me. I didn't know you'd
because
say that.
yeah. Um, I don't know why. He's the biggest artist in the world. Um, and he's probably the most versatile. Like people say, like, oh, he's the best rapper in the world, all this different type. But I don't look at Drake as just a rapper. Like he's an artist to me. Like he can go hop on a song with Bad Bunny and then go rap with J. Cole. Like that's not just being a rapper. So, you know, like the greatness that he's put on display for we're in 2021. He's been rapping since like
Mm-hmm.
2005. And you know, the greatness he's put on display since he came into the mainstream with Young Money and Lil Wayne. And yeah, I just like to get insight on people. I don't really like, I don't know what else I can get out of this dinner. They're not going to give me any money. They're just going to give me a bunch of advice. So
The fact
um,
might pay for your meal. Who knows?
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not going to get anything of monetary value. I'm going to get some knowledge. I'm going to get some advice. And, you know, that the value of that goes a long way. What is that, 3?
Yeah.
Okay, 4. Throw my grandfather in there.
Hey, there we
He's
go.
one of the funniest people I ever knew. He's big into politics, so if he saw Obama at the table, he would go
Someone be
nuts.
hyped. Someone be hyped.
um, and you know, he's just uh, one of the people I looked up to growing up. You know, him and my father, they're like role models in my life. I've never looked at like athletes and musicians as role models because it's an unrealistic expectation. But if you look at like people that are close to you in your life and you can set that expectation for you, is definitely it's humbling and you appreciate it as you get older. Ooh.
One more, bro.
Last
We got
one.
one more seat at the table, bro. Who you putting there?
So this is 5 people and me.
5 people and you. So yeah, it's a 6-person table.
This is mad tough. Um, uh, I'm gonna say Muhammad Ali, but
Ooh, I
like,
also didn't expect that one.
but I like not Muhammad Ali in his old age, like with Parkinson's and stuff, because he couldn't really, you know, he couldn't really control physically what he was doing. Like Muhammad Ali in his prime, like being a prominent athlete in the 60s, being forced to go to war, being arrested for not going again, like that was basically against the law, and sort of setting the tone for dominant. black boxers in America. Like obviously he was after like Joe Louis, but he came in with like Joe Frazier and George Foreman and then he set the tone for like Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, eventually Floyd Mayweather, and it just I just want to hear like his like what was his mindset back then. Obviously dealing with blatant racism back in the 60s. Not that that's changed, but because people are getting brave again. But just to hear how he dealt with that, how he woke up every day and motivated himself to be the greatest of all time, and he's one of the most confident athletes
That's a
ever.
fact. That's very true. Just to like, I love that question because like you get to just to think about picking all those people's brains. Like they can each give you some sort of insight that the other can't because like of their personal experiences that you can take and just become a superstar. That would be what my best part of it, like being able to just talk to all those people that you've never really gotten the chance to interact with. That would probably be my favorite part. Top three video games, bro. Your favorite video games of all time, bro. What are your three favorite
Oh,
video games of all time? And you can't be like 2K9, 2K10, 2K11. Use one 2K.
all right. Um, dang, do you know how many? All right, do you know how much video games I've played in my life? Like, how you gonna ask me a question like
No,
that?
bro. I had to, bro. I know 2K11 got to be up there, bro.
Like three is not enough. I'm gonna give you an honorable mention,
All right,
and these
bet.
are not maybe like the three that I think are the best. These are my favorite. So just honorable mention. A game I used to play all the time as a kid, the NBA Street Series. Those games are legendary. NBA Street
Fire, bro.
One, uh, Volume Two, like three was kind of garbage, and Homecoming. We're not even gonna talk about that. But I'll say the first three were truly solid. I don't even think about the fourth one. I'm sorry that Melo had to be on the cover of that because that game is garbage. But yeah, that's my honorable mention. Just the NBA
Bro, do
Street
you remember?
series.
Do you remember? What's it called? NBA Home Court, bro. And Rip Hamilton was a demon.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking. That's the fourth one.
Yes, that.
Yeah, yeah, it was trash.
That it was hilarious, bro.
Two. Hmm. See, the thing is, growing up, I didn't play a lot of single player games. I didn't start playing that till I got a little bit older. But one that I've played in recent memory that I still think is one of the best games I've ever played is Spider-Man. I think it's just called Spider-Man PS4 or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's
Um,
Spider-Man PS4.
yeah, that game, I didn't even pay full price for it. I paid $15 for it when it was on sale, like a year after it came out, and that's the best $15 I may have ever spent
Mm-hmm.
in my adult life. Um, obviously aside from necessities, but uh, yeah, that game is amazing. The suits are fire. Peter Parker as a character is fire.
The
The
web
villain,
swinging system. That'd
yeah,
be my favorite part. Like
the fighting system, which was similar to
Arkham, Batman, the
The
Arkham game.
Arkham series and
Yeah.
Batman. I completely forgot
I
about that.
forgot about those too.
You could throw that in my honorable mentions too, because those games are
Those
fire.
games shaped the way that fighting games are. Like the
Yeah,
mechanics behind it, like the press triangle, the counter, and like
yep.
that's all from that game, bro.
If
Arkham
it wasn't
Asylum.
if it wasn't for Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, there would
Hmm.
be no Spider-Man or any games we play.
That's a fact.
And you know, I'm gonna cheat here. And at my number one, I'm gonna put two 2K games. I'm
Oh,
putting I'm putting 2K11 and 2K16
okay.
because those are the two games that undoubtedly are the two best 2K games of all time. 2K11 just because it set the tone for what we saw on like the PS4 generation. Like we had think about like when we had Xbox 360s and we were like, oh my God, Michael Jordan is gonna be in 2K11, and then
Hmm.
they had like Jordan moments, crew
Uh
mode.
huh.
Then you had your my GM or I forgot what it was called, and that was really the start of my career. Like that was the foundation of what we
Used to
know
start out as like a 40
as like
overall,
a
bro.
we really used to grind.
Yeah,
Like
it's a fact.
I couldn't imagine
Because
being the age I am.
you couldn't spend money, bro. You just had to get
No,
straight skill points.
there was no VC. You really had to grind every day. And I couldn't imagine being 22 years old trying to grind a player from 40 overall to
My
now.
son gonna start at a 40 and stay at a 40. That's what he is.
He's gonna be at 80 and we going all on.
Exactly.
But and then 2K16 was that was like the most fun I ever had because we
Mr.
had like the
Demons on
park.
Pro-Am, bro.
Oh yeah, we were on Pro Am. We were playing Park. We were on my team. Like we played everything, and the game was so balanced. And even though there was VC at that point, we was like, you know what, VC has been in the system for 4 or 5 years. We just gonna take this L and
Bro,
pay the VC.
there was that. Remember in 2K16 we was playing Pro-Am, and there was that day that we was like top 50 on the leaderboards of the entire world, bro. I would
Yeah, we
never
were
forget
hyped.
that day, bro.
We were
We was
hyped.
nice, bro. What was the game that we did the VC glitch for my team?
uh,
Was that 2K14? Was that 2K12? What was that?
2K13.
I
2K13.
think, bro. Me and
We
Jalaal.
oh man, let me tell her. Let me tell her.
I got confusing.
We used to. It was one summer. We used to wake up every day and go on our 360s, load up 2K13, and do the VC glitch for like 10 hours.
Keep in mind, bro, the VC glitch that it was basically like you load up a 6 minute game, a 7 minute game, an 8 minute game, a 9 minute game, all the way up to 12 minutes in the fourth quarter, and then let them play through, and you get the
Mhm.
VC for them every time. So if you do it for 10 hours, at the end of the 10 hours, you got like 120K, and you just
Yep.
ball out on
Just
packs.
yeah, just blow the bread on packs, and we would get nothing, and we'd be like, we're doing it again
Back
tomorrow.
at it again.
So like in retrospect, now that I'm thinking about it, that was hella selfish of us because I'm sure we were just running up our parents'
Bro,
electricity bill.
we weren't even doing any, like, it's not like we were playing the game, bro. We were
We were
just
not
letting the
playing the
game
game.
play. Like,
We weren't playing the game. Like that's mad selfish. I feel bad for it, but we we had fun. But we were definitely running up our parents' electric bill. I apologize to my parents.
Bro, so I know the Super Bowl is about 2 weeks away. I think it's February 7th, which is what, 2 Sundays from now, not this Sunday, next Sunday.
Mhm.
Chiefs against the Buccaneers, Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. I'm not gonna get into it too much now, but bro, if you had to pick your winner right now, who would you pick?
I'm not picking against Patrick Mahomes, man.
Thank you. I'm
I
with
can't.
you,
I
bro.
can't.
I can't
And
do
I
it. I just can't
and
do
I
it.
and I said before, like I can't pick against Brady, but Patrick Mahomes is a different type of demon.
He's a
And
different
for
demon.
those of you who don't know, I am a Packers fan. I've seen Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes is Aaron Rodgers 2.0 with maybe an even better arm. Like he makes throws that is just like, why would you even try that? And
It's the past versus the future, bro. Past versus
yep,
the future. This
the
Chiefs team.
master versus the apprentice.
Exactly. This Chiefs team is we're in the making, like we're watching a dynasty be formed. Just kind of like just how the dynasty warriors had to get through LeBron to get their chip. Pat Mahomes and this Chiefs dynasty got to get through Brady. LeBron is the boss of the NBA. Brady is the boss of the NFL, and he's gonna. I just can't pick against him, bro. He's the most talented quarterback, and he's the best quarterback in the league. Not often.
Mhm.
Those two things don't always have to combine. Like
Yep.
they don't like Aaron Rodgers was the most talented quarterback in the league, but there was a time when Brady was still the best QB in the league. So like not only is Patrick the most talented, he's also the best. So I and that Chiefs team is just unstoppable. I'm sorry.
I disagree with that Aaron Rodgers statement, but you could go ahead. He was the best QB
What?
in the league, but Tom Brady, the Patriots were constantly getting the Super Bowls because they just had great teams.
I mean I hear what you're saying, bro, but
But
I'm
yeah, I get where you're coming from. I get where
I'm
you're
gonna
going
have to
from.
say that Aaron might have been the most talented, but I feel like Brady was the best. Not every year, obviously, but like there's
Oh
Aaron
yeah, like
Rodgers has
overall
been the most talented quarterback in the league for a very long time.
for like the
Not
last
every
10
year has
years.
he been the best quarterback in the game, though, is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
But
I got you. I got you.
yeah, I'm also picking Chiefs. It should be a fun matchup, though. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be a tight game, but
Nah, that's gonna be a crazy game. Like,
that's a
and
fact.
I usually like don't get too hyped for Super Bowls because I'm like this is leaning. Like last year was a great one too, but usually I'm like if Brady's in it, I'm like, what team is Brady on?
What is
Patriots
Brady? Is he 6-4 in Super Bowls?
six
Six
and three.
6-3.
So this is his
Because this
10th
is his
Super Bowl.
10th. Yeah.
And for those people that are comparing it to LeBron's 10 finals, this is not even close because I feel like it's so much harder to win a Super Bowl than it is to win a championship ring.
Two fat
Be-
L's to Eli Manning and one to Nick Foles.
yeah, but like, but then, yeah, like it, it's so hard to win one Super Bowl. You can see that with people like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning only has two. Uh, who's another like great quarterback? John Elway has one.
Russell Wilson has one.
Brett Favre has one. Like all of these guys that are historically great only have one. So for Brady to get six and possibly seven, like first of that's a testament to his determination to just want to keep winning. Also, the Patriots organization as a whole, but like winning six Super Bowls in a playoff system that's single elimination, like you could have a bad day and just lose,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
it's
it's over.
just
Your season done.
and even then there was a period of time where the Patriots didn't win a Super Bowl for a while. Like they in the 2000s they hadn't won from like 2004 to like 2014, but they were still getting there.
I always feel bad for teams at the end of their seasons because you work the entire offseason. And like a lot of team seasons end in it's January right now? A lot of team season end in December. You don't play again until like August,
A lot of team
September, bro.
seasons, a lot of team seasons end in October. There's some
October.
teams that be trash, like the Jets and the Jaguars. They knew a month into the season that they didn't. There was nothing they could do. You're fighting for the Trevor Lawrence Bowl. That's what this is.
Exactly, bro. Your season starts in August, September. Your season ends in October, November. You're spending January, February, March, April, May, June, July, that most of the year training for that new season just for it to end. And then I feel like that takes such a psychological toll on you. Like you just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and just not getting anywhere. Like that has to suck,
But
bro.
Brady has definitely readjusted the way he played. Like earlier in his career, he was like a straight up pocket quarterback. He did not move. And I feel like as he got older, he realized I need to like, even if I'm not gonna scramble out the pocket, I still need to be able to move in the pocket. So like he moves up and around and avoids. I've seen him avoid sacks. I'm like, how did he even do that? Like, he's not gonna go anywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
he's just so swift at this. What 44 years old, 43 years old, still throwing dimes. He throws a duck every once in a while. I can't lie, but he's 43. Like, what do you expect him to throw a bullet to the end zone? It's not gonna
Exactly.
happen. He's aging.
Jalal and I talked about the conference chips games on his podcast, Just Another Day podcast. So if you want to hear me and him talk about Packers, Bucks, and Chiefs, Bills, go check that out. He had very much to say about the Packers game, obviously. So so make sure you guys go listen, give that a listen. My 11th question. We're damn near through the gauntlet. 11th question, bro. If you could have any guest on your pod, who would it be?
Like anybody.
Anybody, bro. Any guest on your pod. Like you sitting down and in comes the Zoom call and it's who? Who is you sitting on a Zoom call with what guest, bro? Your dream guest to be sitting here next to you recording a podcast. I feel like mine would low key be Barack.
That's a good one. That's a good.
Just
I'm thinking of
here,
athletes,
uh-huh.
but it's tough. I haven't even mentioned them because we haven't really talked about it. But if I opened up a Zoom call and I saw Derek Jeter on the other side of that Zoom call, I would be psyched. I'm a huge Yankee fan, and Derek Jeter was my favorite player for a long time. I watched most of his career, and he's the owner of the Marlins now, and he's trying to help them come to prominence for the first time in like 20 years. So yeah, to see him, like I could have said LeBron or Aaron Rodgers or D Wade or Jimmy Butler, like people that I'm fans of. Not really a fan of LeBron.
Is Jimmy Butler your favorite NBA player?
I don't really have one right now.
I thought it was KD, but now I don't really feel like it's KD anymore.
Like, kind of, but like I'm just more so a fan of the Heat. My favorite player on the Heat is Bam, just because like he's Jimmy's obviously the best player, and I love Jimmy, but he's like the face of the franchise. Like if Jimmy rips his knee apart tomorrow, it's Bam's team, and it's gonna be Bam's team when Jimmy retires because he's already in his early 30s, and Bam is like 23. So yeah, if I had a favorite player on a favorite team, I guess I have that. But Yeah, I don't really have a favorite.
It's always
NBA.
tough to pick a favorite player after your player retires. Like,
Yeah,
like
like
when
it was
Kobe
D Wade.
retired, I was like, but I kind of settled on D'Angelo Russell pretty quickly. So,
Yeah, like once D Wade retired, I'm like, I've been rooting for this man for 20 years. I'm just yeah, whatever. Like it's
Mhm.
over.
And so yeah, last question of the gauntlet is basically it's like a multi-ended question. So I want to talk about quarter season awards with you. Most of the NBA teams are through a quarter of their season, 25% of their season, with the exception of the Washington Wizards, because they obviously had a COVID outbreak. They are about like 4 or 5 games back from every other team. So I'm very interested to see how they get caught up with the rest of the season. But so yeah, we have some sort of viewpoint on how each team is looking, how the players are looking. So I know I did a preseason like NBA awards. Did you do a preseason NBA awards
Yeah,
too?
I did. I did one too, and I was completely wrong so
I
far.
was so wrong. I'm looking at my list now, and I think I only have one person that is
I
the
have
same.
one. Yeah, I
I
have
have one
one.
person, and so yeah, we can get into it. Obviously gonna bury the lead. We're not gonna talk about MVP till last. So sorry, you gotta keep listening and know who our MVPs are. Sixth man of the year. I'm gonna go with Jordan Clarkson. I was torn. I'm gonna keep it a stack, bro. I didn't even really know like who was eating off the bench, so I'm like, who was the NBA six man? I'm looking. I'm like Jordan Clarkson playing 25 minutes, averaging 17 points, 4 rebounds, shooting 48% from the field, 41% from three. I'm like, okay, do you think Jordan? Like, fine. I was gonna say a lot of people said Terrence Ross, Shake Milton, people like that, Michael Porter Jr. But I'm gonna just go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm just go ahead and give it to Jordan Clarkson. Oh, Chris Boucher was another one, but he's playing the same amount of minutes as Jordan Clarkson and averaging significantly less points. So I'm just going with Jordan Clarkson.
Mine, it's actually pronounced Chris Boucher
What did I
and
say? Boucher?
Boucher.
My fault, Chris.
um,
My B.
that's my six man of the year so far because one he I kind of saw this coming because he was a demon low key last year off the bench for the Raptors
He
when
was the
they had
G League demon for real. He was
yeah
nice in the G League.
and he was playing behind Marc Gasol a lot, but they would put him in for defensive purposes and he could stretch the floor and shoot the three. He's averaging almost 15 points and 8 rebounds in like 24 minutes, and he's the primary scorer off the bench, but he still has to look for Siakam, Lowry, Van Vliet, as to where Clarkson could come off the bench. And Donovan Mitchell might be in the game or like Mike Conley, but you're not giving the ball to Rudy Gobert for him to go to work on the block. So Boucher is like their fourth option. And honestly, he shouldn't even be coming off the bench because he's better than Aaron Baines. He's better than I think they just cut Alex Len. So that should tell you everything you need to know. Um, yeah, he's their best big man, and he's been cooking early in the season.
Who was your preseason prediction?
Who was my?
For six man
Um,
of the year, mine was Karras. Mine was Karras LeVert.
that was a good one.
Obviously, he's now on the Pacers, so that didn't really work out the way I thought it would. But
I couldn't come up with one, and I think by default I just said Lou Will,
mm,
but you know,
I don't.
whatever.
Is he having a good season? I feel like, oddly
I feel
enough,
like he's having a down season.
I'm looking up his stats. Oh yeah, he's not playing well at all. I mean, he's only averaging 19 minutes per game, but he's shooting 39.5% from the field. He's averaging 8.8 points. That's tough. That's tough for Lou Will. I feel like the Clippers are really not the talk of the town. I feel like last year I always
Yes,
heard
they
about the
are.
Clippers. I never hear about the Clippers anymore. I don't know why.
Well, they kind of are. Well, they're second in the West right now, right?
They are second in the West. Yeah, I just
Okay.
don't really like hear on Twitter people saying
Yeah.
that.
Well, one is because we don't care what the Clippers do in the regular season. And Kawhi and Paul George are having amazing seasons. Like Paul George is shooting at like a 55, 50, 90 clip,
Bro, both of them are shooting
averaging
50, 40, 90.
Paul George is shooting 50, 50, 90.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Kawhi is 50, 40, 92. That's
Yeah. I
insane.
feel like I feel like this season a lot of people are shooting like 45, 40, like high percentages from
Bro,
three. I don't
there's a lot of like I feel like the stats this year, a lot of players are averaging some crazy stats, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's because of there's no crowd and people were saying in the bubble it was a lot easier to shoot in the bubble than it is on a regular court. I don't know what it is. No crowd and the shooters just hear silence. I don't know. But yeah, the 3-point percentage around the league has definitely taken a huge leap.
The only person, like I said, my only preseason award that stayed the same is Defensive Player of the Year. I had Anthony Davis in the preseason. I have Anthony Davis now. My people aren't really bringing up Miles Turner. He's averaging an insane amount of blocks. He's averaging like over 4 blocks a game. But I just don't think they're gonna give it to Miles Turner. Unfortunately, like the NBA tweeted out like top Defensive Player of the Year candidates, and Miles Turner was nowhere to be found, which sucks. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to AD. The Lakers have the best defensive rating in the league. He should have got it last year, and he didn't. So I'm gonna give it to him this year.
I predicted Anthony Davis as well in my preseason predictions, but I'm going with Rudy Gobert. And the reason is because and I said in my podcast, like I wouldn't have paid him $200 million. I don't know who else gets paid $200 million to get dunked on 50 times a season. But he leads the league in single defensive rating, like as a player. He's number one in defensive rating. He's, I think, top 3 in blocks. If it wasn't for Miles Turner, he'd be top 2.
Karl
And
Anthony Towns is he's right after Miles Turner, and then I think Gobert is right after. But Cat has only played like 5 games, so small sample
yeah,
size.
and he's the best player on a great defensive team. The Jazz have always been great defensively. And Gobert gets a lot of slack for getting cooked when he switches on the guards, which I mean, he's 7 feet tall. He doesn't have great feet against Steph Curry. If he gets switched on to Steph Curry, yeah, Steph Curry gonna make him do a spin cycle 360. But he can switch onto a wing and force them to put up a bad shot. So I think he's been pretty good this season. He's averaging, regular Rudy Gobert numbers. I don't think he's completely trash, but I think offensively he's limited. But that doesn't matter because we're talking about defensive player.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I definitely feel like he's a his archetype of player is very similar to
He's a
someone.
he's a in 2K. He's a rebounding, a glass cleaning rim protector or
Yeah,
something like
100%,
that. He
100%, bro,
very limited.
100%. Coach of the year. My preseason prediction was Monty Williams. The worst call that I ever have made is saying
Who is
that
he? Is he the Pelicans coach?
he's the Suns coach.
Oh,
the
okay,
the
okay, yeah.
worst call that I have ever made is saying that Ryan Saunders could possibly win Coach of the Year because I believed in the Timberwolves, and he is a horrible coach.
I
He's
don't know why
probably
you
the
believed
worst
in
coach
him.
in the league. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't know. I believe in D'Lo. I believed in Cat. Cat went from playing every game of his career to never playing any games. Obviously, he got COVID, not his fault, but if Cat was active, I feel like the Timberwolves wouldn't be one of the worst teams in the West, but I'll just let it rock. So for my coach of the year, I was torn between Doc Rivers and Quinn Snyder. I don't know. The 76ers, I feel like, are surpassing a lot of people's expectations, but they do this in the regular season all the time. So there's that. And then Quinn Snyder, the Jazz are the third best team in the West. So there's that. But we'll see how things continue to go on. If I had to give it to one, I have a little bit of bias towards Doc Rivers, so I'm going with Quinn Snyder.
Um, mine mine is Doc Rivers, just because their offense definitely improved. Just
I love that we
just
haven't had one of the same person yet.
I was hoping you picked Doc Rivers. I'm like, damn, is he gonna pick Doc? And you didn't. So yeah, mine is Doc Rivers, but I have sort of a dark horse. I don't think this is gonna happen, but I would love to see it happen for a lot of my friends out there. If the Knicks make the playoffs, if they're like fifth, sixth seed,
Tibbs.
Tom Thibodeau should definitely be a strong consideration for Coach of the Year because those boys are playing hard every night. Their starters are playing like 38 to 40 minutes a night. They play defense,
They're one of the best
and
defenses in the league, bro.
they're the best defense in the league
Mm-hmm.
right now. And um, he's got Julius Randle looking like a bona fide all
All
star right now.
star.
Like, I don't know what's gotten into Julius Randle, but he's been balling out all season. RJ Barrett's gotten better. He's had like a great 2 week stretch up to this point where he's averaging like 25 and 5 on great shooting splits. And yeah, I'm impressed by what the Knicks have done. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll be in the play-in tourney. But yeah, Tibbs, if they're in the playoffs, like they have a solidified spot, he's got to be in consideration.
That's a fact. I already know our friend Daniel, Knicks fan. He said if they make the play in, that might as well be their finals. So, shout out to the Knicks. I wish them the best because they've gone through the ringer.
Yeah, they
Um,
have.
Most improved. I really don't remember who I said on the preseason pod. I feel like I might have said Christian Wood. So, and my pick now is also Christian Wood. So,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like that's kind of the easiest one to say. Like Christian Wood, far and away, has taken a huge leap. He went from averaging 13 points last year to 23.5 right now. He's averaging 23 and 11 rebounds, shooting 52.8% from the field. He's a 36% shooter from the 3-point line. Kind of does it all. He's also averaging 1.8 blocks a game, so he can get you some blocks in the defensive end. Yeah, Christian Wood taking a huge leap, a huge enough leap for the Rockets to feel like we can get James Harden the fuck up out of here, pack him up, and invest our future in Christian Wood. So yeah, he's my most improved player.
Yeah, that's a great one. I
I
this
know
one
you're not
this
about to say Christian Wood, bro.
no, I'm not. I'm not. Mine is Jeremy Grant, and he also took a like. I feel like these are the top two, like the obvious top two for most improved right now, along with a Chris Boucher. Like Chris Boucher could also be in the
Mm-hmm.
conversation for most improved, but Jeremy Grant went from averaging 12 points and being like the first option off the bench for a championship contending team to going to a trash team in what is like the morgue of the NBA. You go to Detroit to die. Your career, you go in there to die. And he's averaging 24 points on 45% shooting, and I think like 35 from three. And he's been balling. Like at first, I'm like, this is a fluke. He's just getting like the shots off, and he's hot from the field to start off the season. But nah, he's been. I'm very impressed by what he's been doing. Another person that comes to mind for most improved is Domantas Sabonis. He is balling. He is the best player on the Pacers. He's been the best player on the Pacers for like 3 years now. Like I know people love Oladipo, but Sabonis is one of the most underrated players in the league, and he's a double machine. His
Mm-hmm.
pops was nice. That's who he got it from. Rest in peace to his pops. Like, yeah, he's another one.
Another guy that comes to my mind, a couple guys, Jaylen Brown. He is
Oh
shooting
yeah,
an extremely efficient clip from the field. I just don't think he's going to be able to sustain it. Like regression is coming because Jason Tatum is coming back, so he's probably going to dip down a little bit. Julius Randle, we just talked about him. If he makes the All Star game, he very well could be most improved player. Colin Sexton, we saw what he did to that Big Three Nets team twice. So I mean, a lot of guys have really stepped up this season. The most improved player race is gonna. I think it's gonna be a tight one. I don't really know who's leading right now. I know odds makers have Christian Wood as the favorite to win, but we'll see what happens. Next, we have the last two are Rookie of the Year and MVP. Rookie of the Year for me, along with everyone in the preseason, I said LaMelo Ball. And Melo is probably my second, but my Rookie of the Year is actually Tyrese Halliburton. He is playing very well for the Kings. Like extremely well. I was looking at his stats compared to Melo's. I think they both average somewhere around like 12 points. I could just actually look it up right now. I'm about to say absolute bullshit rather than just look it up. Hold on. Tyrese Halliburton is averaging. Yeah, Tyrese Halliburton averages 11.4 points, 4.9 assists. He shoots 47% from three, which is crazy. Shoots 47, and it's not on a small sample size either. He attempts 4.7 threes a game, shoots 50% from the field. Like, he has the efficiency. He also has the numbers to back it up, which Melo doesn't have. Like, Melo has the numbers, he's just not as efficient as Tyrese Halliburton. So I'm going to give it to him, an underdog. He kind of reminds me of like when Malcolm Brogdon won it. I feel like he's kind of one of those guys that no one's really expecting him under the radar, comes out, has a great rookie season. And yeah, that's my rookie of the year.
another guy that came under the radar his rookie season, who's now one of the best players in the league, is Damian Lillard. He
That's a
came out of
fact.
college, and everybody was like, "Oh, Anthony Davis far and away is going to be the rookie of the year." Damian Lillard comes in, averages like 18 his first year, and I think the Blazers went to the playoffs his rookie year. So yeah, or like the year after his rookie year. But yeah, that's a great pick. I didn't even think of that, and I mean, I thought of it, but I'm looking at for rookies, like obviously the NBA prioritizes like who's the highest scorer, who's the most efficient. I'm gonna stick with my preseason pick, which was also LaMelo. But my reasoning for it is I just want to see LaMelo get more minutes.
Yeah, I think.
His his coach is like a stickler, bro. Like
Mhm.
he's like he's playing him like 20 minutes because he committed 4 turnovers. First of all, he's a point guard in a elite point guard league. There's a lot of elite guards in the league. You're playing him behind uh Terry Rozier, who's not terrible. He's all right. He's an average point guard. And Devontae Graham, who literally shoots the same percentage from three and the field. I think he shoots like 35% from the field, 35% from three. That's
Mhm.
horrible. And like just from the eye test, to me, he's the best rookie in the league. Like his as soon as he gets on the floor, their tempo picks up immediately. He's getting in the passing lanes, getting steals, throwing no look behind the back passes, and they be smoking wide open layups or they're missing open three. And like he's had a triple double already. He almost had two if he didn't get taken out at the end of the game. And I just think his coach is being so hard on him. And like in this era of basketball, this is not the 90s. Like you can't be like, oh, you had 5 turnovers, go sit your ass on the bench. That's
Mhm.
not gonna work, bro. Like encourage him, be like, yeah, you have 5 turnovers. Now go out there and fix that and help us win this game.
That was
Because you
always
got the
my that was always my like my problem when back when D'Angelo Russell was on the Lakers. We had Byron Scott. He ran D'Lo the same way, and his development I feel like was stunted because of it. Like you have to give these young point guards, you can't just give them this short of a leash. Like you got to let them make the mistakes to learn from the mistakes. Like I also agree with you. I think Melo's far and away the most talented rookie in this class, and at the end of their careers, I think Melo will be the best player. Um, I just think if the Hornets coach does give him more minutes, I think he's a lock for rookie of the year as well. Just as right now, I'd say Halliburton.
yeah. I
Uh,
respect your pick. That was a great pick.
MVP, the moment everyone's been waiting for.
I know who you're picking. Like, just
Oh,
say
of
it.
course. I
Just
mean,
say it. Just say it.
like I wanted to say, bro, there's so many people playing very well. Like I don't know if you know what Nikola Jokic is averaging, bro, but
He's still averaging a triple double.
he's averaging 25, 12, and 9 and shooting 56% from 3, bro. He is on a different level. Like he's a deep.
He was averaging a triple double last week or a couple weeks ago.
It's crazy, Joel.
And does he still lead the league in assists?
I think so. Like total assists or like average assists.
Average, because for a center to lead the league in assists, that is asinine, bro. Like that's just not something that's normal. That's ridiculous. And um he's definitely
He's
a
fourth in
candidate.
assist. He's forced in. He averages 9.3. Luca averages 9.9. Westbrook averages 10.6. Harden averages 10.8.
Westbrook don't count. That boy played like 5 games, bro.
So yeah,
So yeah,
Harden leads the
Harden.
league in
Okay.
assists. But
All
so if
right.
we take out Westbrook, he's starting assist as a center. He's the only big until you get to, I guess, if you count Draymond Green, Julius Randle, they're top 20, but Jokic is really far and away the best big out there. But there's so many MVP candidates. Like I just said, Jokic. A lot of people's pick. Joel Embiid. Son is averaging 27 points, 11 and a half rebounds. Great on the defensive end, shooting a career high 41% from three. Career high field goal percentage, 55.4. Ben Simmons has regressed, so the 76ers are running it through Joel Embiid for real now. That's a lot of people's pick. Another person who's very popular, Kevin Durant, averaging 30 points, which he has not done since the 2013-2014 season. So it's like KD is back. People are giving him credit. But my guy, my MVP is Mr. LeBron James. LeBron James is my MVP. The Lakers have the best record in the league, and they just won a finals in the bubble, the hardest NBA championship to win. Won that in September, October. They're playing the season started in December. 2 months break, and they're barely trying. Still, they're the number one team in the entire NBA. Braun is averaging 25, 7 and 7, 32.7 minutes per game, which is a career low for him. A career low. He's still averaging 25, 7 and 7. At what? 36 years old, just dropped 46 last night on the Cavs. Come on, bro. And if Braun has 10 gears, he's at gear 4 right now. Chilling, killing teams. Like he should have got and Giannis got the. I know Giannis, another person a lot of people like to give the MVP to. Cool, we did that last year. What happened? He got his ass clapped in the playoffs. And what like we're tired of giving the MVP to Giannis. We giving it to LeBron. He gonna win the next chip. He gonna win that Finals MVP too. I'm done.
You sure?
I'm good.
All right. LeBron is second on my list after last night. Like before last night, he was three, but he's second now after that 40. We had 46 last night.
Yeah.
Um, Mine is Joel Embiid, and it's because now on my podcast, I am known for being a Ben Simmons hater. I'm not a hater of Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons really puts offenses in a tough spot. I was watching a game, I think that was last weekend when they were playing the Celtics. They ran a pick and roll damn near at the block. Like Ben Simmons drives through the lane, Joel Embiid sitting at the block, and he goes around Joel Embiid and then dumps it off. Like what was that? A pick and roll? A pick and pop under the basket? And and like and I'm truly impressed by Embiid because obviously he's the best big in the game. But his number one thing has always been health. That's what everybody talks about. And if he's healthy, he's the best big man in the league. And he's been healthy the entire year. He's, like you said, he's averaging 27, 11 on crazy shooting splits. And he's, the Sixers are the best team in the East. And I don't think anybody expected that. Now, I don't think seeding is indicative of who's actually the best team in a conference, but sometimes that is the case. And right now,
especially in a season like this.
yeah, where like Miami has 4 dudes out, which I just had an argument in our group chat about for like 2 hours. Like Miami hasn't even caught their rhythm yet, and they're a quarter into the season. I think they'll pick it up. But like the Sixers have been going 100% all gas, no brakes since the season started. I think they're out to prove something, and I put them and the Clippers in like that same category where it's like we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are you gonna do in the playoffs? But MVP is a regular season award. Joel Embiid has been cooking everybody he's played, and he's been healthy. And the Sixers are balling. They got shooters everywhere. Tyrese Maxey has been another
He's been
great
really
rookie.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, those Kentucky guards, they're serious.
Yeah, I think the race for MVP this year is going to be a tight one. Like we said, I mentioned a ton of guys. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, both 50, 40, 90 guys. Like those two, if the Clippers end up being the 1 seed in the West, they could be in contention, for the MVP award. Like I said, Nikola Jokic, I saw this stat where with him on the court, the Nuggets are the number 1 offense, and with him off the court, they're the 30th offense, which is crazy. Like that's insane.
Crazy.
Like if
That's
that
crazy.
doesn't show you how big of an impact he makes on that team, that just says it all right there. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a tight race for MVP. This season has been a really fun season. There's a ton of ways you can go at these awards. Like we just said, me and Jalaal picked entirely different people for every award and was able to explain adequately why they should win it. So like this season has been a super impressive season, super fun season, super weird season as well, with games getting postponed left and right. But we're pushing through it, quarter way through. And yeah, you have survived the gauntlet, my boy. Congrats. Do you have
I've
a
been
question?
ready.
You have
I've been ready. I got a question for you. I've been listening to dudes go through the gauntlet, and I'm like, I'm ready. I could do this.
That's
And
lit, bro.
my question for you, this is a tough question. I know it's gonna be a tough question. If you had to build, like if you were in a lab and you had to build the ultimate athlete, like someone's speed, someone's strength, and someone's skill in the NBA, who would you build? And like past or present, like it doesn't have to be someone now. I'll do mine after you do yours.
Well, I was thinking athlete of all sports, but bet NBA, I'm going speed. I want to take De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox speed.
Like all time?
I think I'm trying to think back of like some of the fastest NBA players, and De'Aaron Fox just comes to my mind, probably because he's super current. But yeah, I'll probably go De'Aaron Fox speed. Would you say strength? If I'm going vertical, I'm taking I saw this video that said Jordan had one of the highest verticals, but I feel like that
He
can't
did.
be true. Oh, so
Nah,
that was
yeah, that's true.
I bet. So I'm taking Jordan vertical,
Okay.
De'Aaron Fox speed, um, shooting obviously Steph Curry. Like it's not really a question. Skill, who's a naturally talented person. I want to say Braun. Like
I wouldn't say that skill wise he's like naturally talented. I would
Who?
say he has God given ability. Like that's
Mm,
different because his game is predicated on athleticism. He
you're right.
has a lot of skill now because he can hit the fadeaway and he
I'm trying to
can.
think of someone that's just naturally gifted skill wise. Like,
I can give you one, but I don't want to like have the same one as you, so I'll let you think.
wait, tell me. I won't say the same person. Who is you
So
gonna say?
two people that come to mind is Kyrie and KD.
Mm, that's a fact. Kyrie is just naturally skilled. I feel like I also want to say someone like I want to say someone like Nikola Jokic, but I don't.
Mhm.
I don't. Seems tough to me, but I guess for the sake of things, or even someone like Anthony Davis, like also another naturally talented person. But yeah, I'll go with Nikola Jokic for skill. So yeah, we got a Steph Curry shooter with Jordan's vertical, De'Aaron Fox's speed, Nikola Jokic's skill.
Who's
Um,
defensive
I
ability?
was just about to say that. Whose defense am I going? Uh, I need someone that can defend the perimeter. I'm low key thinking someone like Scottie Pippen, like a Scottie Pippen defender. Let me get a Scottie Pippen defense, Hall of Fame perimeter defender, Hall of Fame clamps, and there's gotta be this. There's one more area I gotta be missing. Um,
Did you do handles? Well, like skill
handles,
is handles, right?
handles. I go Kyrie, and then there's one more, I was just about to say it. What? Oh, passing ability. I'm either going Braun or Magic. So, but I already said Braun, so I'm gonna go Magic. Boom. That's a dom right there. That's
Okay.
MVP every year.
Yeah, wait till you hear mine. Um, so where did you start? You started with speed.
Yeah.
So give me prime Derrick Rose legs for the
Oh.
speed.
Oh. I should
Give
have
me,
said John Wall. Like prime John Wall is another one.
yeah, yeah. Give me prime Derrick Rose for the speed. For vertical, give me Vince Carter.
Mm.
Um, Shooting, I could say Steph, but give me Klay Thompson
That was
because
my second choice.
Klay Thompson when he's hot, is like I don't think anybody gets as hot as he is. He's like supernova. Like there's nothing you can do when Klay Thompson's hot. Um, Skill, I'll go Kyrie, just naturally skilled. Um, Handles, that's tough because a lot of dudes.
AI.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go AI with the handles. What's the other defense? I'm gonna go Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman
That's
was
tough. We
a
both picked
demon
the
on
both
defense.
picked the bull. So
Facts.
and
That
then
those
passing.
Bulls teams passing. Who'd you pick? Magic.
Yeah, I said Magic.
I'm
I
gonna
need
go
a little.
Braun.
Oh yeah, I need someone
I'm
that's
gonna go.
flashy. I need
Yeah,
someone to throw behind the backs.
I'm gonna go Braun. So you got to do with Derrick Rose speed, Braun passing, Klay Thompson shooting, and Vince Carter's athleticism. Boom, and Kyrie's skill. Yeah,
That's a fact.
enjoy, and I'll
That's a
drop you
fact.
like AI.
And Dennis Rodman locking you up. Like that's crazy.
I
That's
would
a
I
good
would
question.
smoke you 1-on-1.
That's that's a good question, bro. I have to pocket that. That's definitely getting asked to somebody on the next
I'm putting that on copyright. You can't use that.
episode. All right, so yeah, that's I don't even know how long we've been recording. I feel like it's a cool hour and a half. I truly don't know because Zoom doesn't even tell you. But that'll do it for this episode of the Run It Up podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe to the Run It Up podcast on Apple Podcasts, really everywhere that podcasts listen to. Leave a rating and review. All reviews will get read on the pod. I appreciate all of you guys. Like I said, take the time to do it. It doesn't cost you any money, just a couple of seconds, a minute at the most, and it really helps me and the podcast out a ton. Shout out to Blue Wire Podcast. Shout out Blue Wire Hustle. You can follow me on Twitter at Najee Adams. You can follow the pod on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. Jalal, get your plugs in, bro, where the people can find you.
Find me on Twitter. Well, first of all, my podcast just got submitted to Apple Podcasts like yesterday, so go
I
find
definitely
that.
left a review, bro.
I can't even see them yet, so
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
takes a while.
who left what. But go leave a review and leave 5 stars and write what you think about the podcast. It helps the algorithm for
Mm-hmm.
Apple Podcasts, so our podcast can be noticed. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at jsandy45_. You'll see some hot takes, some rage takes. I was raging on Twitter during the Packers game on Sunday. Follow my podcast page on Twitter at just ANO Day Pod. I don't have a lot of followers there, so I would truly appreciate it.
That's a fact, bro. So yeah, like I said, I was on Jalal's pod yesterday, which is up now. If you want to hear us talk about Conor McGregor getting knocked the fuck out, the Packers versus the Bucks game, the Chiefs versus the Bills game. What else did we talk about?
We talked about Kobe, and then
Talked about
we
Kobe.
did our top 5 favorite movies in this segment I have called Top 5 Vibes. It was
That's
a
a
lot of
fact.
fun.
It was a lot of fun. So go check that out. Just Another Day podcast. Subscribe to Jalal's pod. Subscribe to the Run It Up podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And let's run it up. Boom.